Hello everyone, thank you for checking out today's video. In this video we're going to be covering how to make changes to forms on ServiceNow using the form design feature. Now in a previous video we did make changes on the form layout feature, which is the quickest way to make changes to forms on ServiceNow, but it's a little bit limiting. So on this one we're going to be covering form design. So all you got to do is come over to your selected form, either go to additional actions or right click on the subheader, go to configure, and then you click on form design. Okay, so as soon as this reloads, it's going to try to advertise Form Builder, which is their new feature, but we will not be doing that in this episode. Okay, so at a glance, this is our user form on the default view. So if you look up here, it's going to show you the table that you're on and the view that you're looking at. So right now we're in the default view, but in case you want to make changes to another view on your form, you would just come over here to the dropdown and select that other view. Okay, so this is our user form. This is obviously the left side. This is the right side. The buttons here, you have your cogwheel, which just gives you the different options for that field. So you can make it mandatory, read-only. You can make it a dependent field. If it's a choice field, then you can add different choices. And then you also have your option to remove it from the form. And this right here, this little hand that appears when you go over the far left side of that row, it gives you the option to change the order. So it's just drag and drop. Okay, and then these are available fields on ServiceNow. These are all the fields that have been created on the user table that we can add over if we want to. So let's look to see manager. Let's say we want to add in the manager field. So all we had to do is drag it from this section over here. And it's right there. Okay, so we got the manager added just like we wanted. Now let's say we wanted to, you can also search here too. So in case there's a ton of fields, you can just search and filter it that way. For field types, let's say we wanted to add a new field. So we could just add in a, right here. So now it's called new true/false, but we could change the name by clicking on the cogwheel. So let's do, what should we do this? Is the user on probation? Meaning, are they a new user? So it would just be yes or no. If it's toggled true, then that means they're on probation. If it's toggled off, then it means they're not on probation. Now the name, that's the backend value. So you probably want to give it something that is going to make sense because you may need it for scripting at some point. And then if it's some crazy name and someone's looking at a script, they're like, what the heck are they changing? This doesn't make any sense. Then they have to go back to the table and then try to find the name for each one of the fields. It's a whole thing. So just save yourself and other developers some time by making the backend value names pretty clear what they're targeting. All right, so is user probation, something like that. Okay, so let's leave that as is. And let's actually change the order of this too. So we'll move this up to the top. All right, and that should just be a little checkbox. All right, and then if everything looks good to go, all you got to do is hit save. Okay, now let's reload our user form. And there we go. We have our option. It's not aligning very nicely, but we have our is the user on probation. So this probably would have made sense to add to the left side because we have other checkboxes over there. So that's part of when you're making changes to forms. Maybe it doesn't turn out the way that you want. So let's just do this. Let's go ahead and go back to form design. And let's drag this over here. And then we'll move another one to the other side so that we kind of even out the count there. Alrighty, reload. We have our army of checkboxes over here, but the form is a lot cleaner because these are aligning for the most part. And then we have all our checkboxes right next to each other. So is the user on probation? You can mark it as yes, then hit save. Then it will be saved. Or we can leave it off. Or we could set up scripts, or we could set up flows, to mark it as true or false. So maybe anytime a new user is created, this by default is marked to true. We could have set that in the default values. Or we can set up some sort of condition with the client scripts or a flow. So there's a lot of different ways we could do that. But it is that easy to make changes to forms on using the form design. And like I said, please check the description if you want to know how to use the form layout to make changes to forms, and also how to make changes to the form builder. All right, guys, if you found this video helpful, please consider giving this video a like. Please also consider subscribing to the channel. Catch you all in the next video very soon.